So this week, I wanted to take a moment to share different universal laws that I think it's impactful for people to understand and had helped me so much to understand the mechanism as a mechanism of the universe. So this actually particular law that I'm going to be talking today is something that I wasn't really emphasizing, sharing, and explaining, but I decided to focus on this one law today because I realized that the understanding of this specific law that I'm going to be sharing, is going to release and help so many people, and that is the law of receiving. Yeah, the universal law of receiving. And why do I want to talk about this? Because many people have challenging time fully receiving. Yeah. And what do I mean by that, right? Now, you might be somebody who wants to gift to people, right? And if somebody give you back, you might feel hesitating. You know, let's see, right? Is there a cultural component involved? Yeah, maybe. I come originally from a Japanese culture. Sometimes, let's say, let me give you an example, right? So if I go with different people, a restaurant, right? And other people paying for me in Japanese culture sometimes is difficult, right? Oh, you said, oh, no, 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 I'll pay. And other friends say, oh, no, no, I'll pay, right? So it's interesting, right? It's sort of embedded in the culture that I'm not kind of willing to receive because I feel bad or I want to contribute. Yeah. So take a moment to notice where you're at with that. Yeah. Many people have a resistance in fully receiving. Yeah, that is nested in the subconscious mind. So it's not just about the physical thing that you're giving, but let's talk about the potential, right? So if you're here watching this video, you might be somebody who believes or wants to believe in your full potential, right? What is full potential? What is the version of the life or you're becoming that you will be expressing when there's no limitation? Yeah. The only thing that prevents us from living fully is the limitation of the mind. And limitation of the mind is the limitation in our belief about ourselves. Yeah. And the limitation of the belief about ourselves depends on the sense of worthiness that we feel or not feel. Yeah. And that sense of worthiness, let's take a moment, right? Maybe have and if you're watching this, maybe have this sort of like a ball-like energy inside of your hands and bring that in front of you and feel how worthy you are or you think you are in the world, and begin thinking of all the people who are doing what you're wanting to do, and what is the difference when you see that person doing, how do you feel? And then when you see yourself being next to that person, how do you feel? Yeah, all those examination of the inner worthiness is useful and effective in a way in order to examine and analyze our subconscious belief about how worthy you feel you are in the world. At the conscious level, you might think that I am worthy, but at the subconscious level, there might be a contradictory energy that needs to be released. Yeah. And many of us, parents did the best thing that they can do, right? And then the surrounding environment and the consequence and circumstance, you might have had different opinions and ideas that didn't allow you to fully believe subconsciously in yourself. Yeah. So let me shed light a different perspective. Yeah. The energy of jealousy or the energy of envy or the energy of feeling a little bit less than, it's called a sense of inferiority, right? When you see somebody shining and doing the thing the way they want to do, right? when you see those people, if you feel a little competitive and if you feel a sense of less than, it means that you're in a wrong perspective. Because the truth is that we are all one, right? So when we start understanding that the essence of who we are resides in the spiritual dimension, and all the possibilities and potentialities and power come from and through that to be able to express you and I and all of us the way we want to, there's no such a thing as a sense of inferiority, right? That when you feel less than, it means that you feel less worthy based on your own inner judgment, right? When you feel jealousy, it means that there is a story, full story of how you feel about you is playing the record player to produce that feeling inside. I'm going to say this again because this piece is very important. That the feeling that you experience and express when you see something good happening, and when you have that sort of fear-based energy that shows up inside, which includes a sense of less than inferiority, a jealousy, envy, or why this person and I'm not, all those inner chatter conversation, right, is coming from our false story of who we are not. It's coming from the false story of who we are not. Now, when we understand that we are all one, and we, each and every one of us has the access, the same one power to express our potential, it means that when somebody's doing what you desire, it means that you can do it as well. So you want to be inspired by it. Yeah. You want to celebrate that person's success and you want to be inspired by it. There's no jealousy, no envy, no sense of inferiority. All those stuff comes from the false story that we have developed, the false sense of worthiness that we have cultivated through our collective uh, norm agreement, invisible agreement in this society. Yeah. So in order to transcend and rise above that, what we want to do is to begin tapping into this energy of who you truly are. And I'm going to come back to the thing called the law of receiving, right? Now, the universal law of receiving means that you want to be able to fully receive your potential. Yeah. Now, many people know that the giving is the opposite of receiving, right? So in order to receive back, we want to be giving, 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 giving. And then the circulatory effect will happen, will kicks in, and it will return back to you. Yeah. And it's interesting because the universe is impersonal. It doesn't mean that if you give to this particular person, it's going to come back from that person. When you give something to this direction, you might receive back from this direction. And the giving and receiving might be something completely different. What I mean is when you give attention to somebody with kindness, you might actually receive money from somebody else. When you give money to somebody else, you might receive some acknowledgement or encounter from a different direction. When you begin giving some health related activity, you might receive something else from a completely different direction. Yeah, that's what I mean by universe is highly impersonal, but the circulation is constantly working. So let's tie everything that I have talked about in one. Yeah. At the spiritual level, we are all one. And receiving happens when you start giving because that is the circulatory energy flow. Yeah. But when we begin understanding that we're one, we might encounter or meet this idea that giving and receiving are not two different things. It's the same thing because we're giving and receiving and we're all one. Yeah. So this individual mind and the body, the vehicle and the tool that we're gifted, we want to use in a way that we can circulate. Yeah. So I don't know where you're at with your sort of internal work around letting go of the all habitual, familiar self. But what I can tell you is that when we rise above our individual personality and when we understand that the body, the vessel vehicle that we're given, and there's all, I think there's like 8 billion people in the world, right? You and I, the body and the mind that we are gifted are only a vessel, portal that the energy circulate through. Energy circulate through. And the more we align with that bigger idea of who we are, the more we can become the vessel to freely circulate. Because then when you start looking at the bigger picture of each body and minds are portal and the vessel that the energy flow and circulate through, you will be moving away from being attached to a certain personality who you feel yourself as. Yeah. And then the giving and receiving becomes just a way to move energy to stay vibrant and healthy. Anything that's stagnant and not moving leads to an integration and uneasiness, right? Dis-ease, basically, right? So the more we circulate to be willing to give and graciously receive, you will be circulating, circulating, circulating. So today, we want to make a commitment to begin rising above our full story. What about the inside of me that is holding me back to feel less than? Yeah. And then to begin entering into this idea and level that we're all one, and you and I, and you and the person that you admire, you and anybody who you think that is creating the life that you also desire are no different. And what can I give and contribute to begin moving the energy to be able to receive back? Because when I receive back, I can give more of. Yeah, to have all these awareness in one place to begin being the vessel, portal for all the energy flow to circulate through. Then receiving becomes very easy. Can you feel the easiness of receiving? Because receiving is not about you, but it's about giving back to create more of the circulation. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, anything that needs clarification, and I'll come back more with different laws this week. Today I talked about the universal law of receiving, and see you in the next video.